This video was brought to you by NCIX. Great technology, selection, and service.
Hello everyone, I'm Dimitri with Canucks, and the release of the 380T from Corsair has marked an interesting design direction for the company, especially with a splash of a bright yellow bumblebee color option. If you're not yet satisfied with the full tower offerings from Corsair, then you are in luck, as they have just released their latest 780T, the next generation design after the very popular 600T case, priced at $189 for the white and yellow versions and $10 less for the black. And I gotta say that I'm loving what they're doing in terms of exterior design, with the chassis looking pretty cool, with these angular yet rounded edges, and you can actually use the top portions that are sticking out on both the back and the front to carry the case. Our sample arrived with a little defect on one of the sides, with plastic pieces slightly sticking out, but this is a pre-production sample and things like this should not pass through quality control, so don't you worry. If you're looking to see what they did differently internally, don't get your hopes up, as this is merely an exterior modification to the 750D and the 760T, with just 2 optical bays instead of 3 and just some minor internal adjustments. The front I/O panel looks modern, with an inclusion of 4 USB ports, audio jacks, and PR buttons that appear to be inspired by some type of car start button. Plus we get a fan controller for 5 fans that are SATA powered. Corsair is not afraid of going big, and the large form is well supported by wide rubberized case feet, so the 780T is very stable and fully dust proof, with 2 easily removable filters at the bottom for the power supply and the optional fan mount if the drive cage platform is removed. The front filter pops out to reveal 2 140mm fans included, with triple 120mm support and single 200mm fan, plus Corsair always makes sure to design the least restrictive frame, and that is excellent to see. Although one of the installed fans was totally blocking the screws you need to remove in order to pop out the drive cage, so that was a bit inconvenient and not really user friendly. On a better note though, I do love how easy it is to get inside the enclosure, with almost car-like handles that are toolless, and we get this massive side window that would reveal all the goodies inside. To close it, you have to align the 2 notches at the bottom and basically snap the panel back in place. The filter up top is removable. We get so much room for triple fan support and being able to install fans above the frame for extra internal clearance. And there are also small rubber inserts to prevent noise from vibrations for those fans, but one thing they did miss out are cutouts to pass your cables through if the fans are actually installed above the frame. This is again another artifact in the 780T that I was not expecting to see. You can't even route the fan cables behind the motherboard tray from the top, and this will certainly negatively impact the appeal of the 780T. Even the front has the small cutouts on the side of the fans, but strangely the top doesn't, so just keep that in mind. The full tower will support eATX motherboards with its 9 PCI brackets at the back, and finally they are getting the hint of flexible rear fan mount in case you need to maneuver the fan to accommodate for thicker radiators. And of course we have a 140mm fan included. And getting inside the full black interior, there is a deja vu moment, as we've seen this layout time and time again with their full towers. It's not a bad thing per se, it's a very spacious design with modular drive cages and rubber grommets spread around. So the drive cages, after removing the screws by the fan and some more on the side, there's also another question mark of why these are not thumb screws to simplify your workflow. But here we get modular mounting, all depending on how you want to set up your internals. We get extra flexibility to offset the platform to allow radiators to be installed at the front with 3 inches of clearance available, and in this way you can still utilize one of the cages, although GPU clearance drops to 10.5 inches for the bottom 5 PCI slots. At the default setup, however, there's plenty of space for your graphics card with just under 14 inches available until the drive cage. And here is where an extra fan on the side of the drive cage would help to drive airflow, but unfortunately that's not an option. Removing the platform completely, you can install a 240mm radiator at the bottom without compromising your storage potential, as both drive cages can be mounted to the top frame with plenty of space left over for thick radiators and push-pull setups. Also, with the radiator at the bottom, over 200mm is available for your power supply. Taking a quick look at the drive caddies, they're nothing special with side SSD mounts that will require you to remove one of the pins on the bracket to insert the SSD. And speaking of SSDs, there are 3 dedicated brackets on the side of the chassis designed to show off your drives. They have holes to secure the SSD to the bracket and the bracket to the case as well. There's nothing unique behind the motherboard tray, just a few cable tie points and lots of room for any cable work, especially since you can just tuck away a majority of them into this plastic sleeve at the bottom. The large opening in front of the power supply for some reason is not grommeted. Now, even though it doesn't show through the side panel, it would still be nice to include for an overall cleaner looking basement. Starting with the assembly, the motherboard standoffs are pre-installed with a longer middle standoffs for quick motherboard alignment. Nice. Now, for this price, I think we've been sort of spoiled at how Fantex treats its customers with a full plastic toolbox included, so it was a bit of a letdown to see a standard cardboard box with just a simple Ziploc bag included with the 780T. And so here's the finished build. I think any type of system would appear minuscule inside the 780T, and it has its advantages, of course, like a completely seamless assembly process and plenty of space for water cooling. So the full potential of the case is yet to be seen with some awesome enthusiast custom loops and perhaps multi-GPU setups. We have just under 4 inches of clearance until the memory modules up top, so that's plenty for push and pull in thick radiators, and those SSD brackets on the side peek through just to show off your fast drives. Now, I didn't even bother doing anything with the cables at the back, as the large gap at the bottom does a great job containing them all. And also the side panels are actually reversible, just a thought for potential modding opportunities. And so let's wrap this up. The 780T is everything that is already good with Corsair's internal spacious layout, with modularity, water cooling support, and straightforward assembly, while spicing things up with a touch of exterior modification to the better, with simple to remove and good looking side panels, plus the inclusion of that fun color. I just love the bumblebee. However, there are a few moments of dissatisfaction, as you can't pass fan cables inside if they are installed above the frame up top. There's no rubber grommet on the large cutout that I found strange, and I was expecting a simpler process to secure the drive cages to the frame without needing to remove the front fans. Now, there's nothing seriously wrong with the 780T, but I really wish Corsair would diverge their attention towards space efficiency and away from these gigantic cases, as a slimmer and a more compact mid-tower equivalent of the 780T would be welcomed with many more arms in this market, I think, than another full tower. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with me on this? And what are your thoughts on the exterior of the 780T and this bumblebee direction? And as always, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more similar content, and we'll see you in the next one.